ZER0 INBOX is a game for 3 to 6 players all about clearing out your email inbox before any of your opponents can. It is played with a deck of cards consisting of email cards and action cards, a game board, a 6-sided die, and some player tokens. Here's how it's played. The goal of the game is to clear your hand of all email cards and cross or land on the refresh inbox square. So let's get started. To set up the game, first shuffle up all of the email cards, excluding the action cards for now. Once shuffled, deal 3 email cards to each player face down. Players can look at their cards, but should keep them private. Next, have each player take a token to represent their place on the board. Players then decide who goes first by dice roll. The highest roll wins, and ties are decided by roll-off, with play passing clockwise from the starting player. All players start with their token on refresh inbox. Lastly, shuffle up all of the email cards and action cards together, and place them in the center of the board to make the draw pile. Each turn, players roll the die and move the number of spaces indicated. If they have an action card, such as a free forward, they may use it at any time during their turn. Players can discard emails when they land on a board space that corresponds with the type of email in the player's hand. There are 4 types, which we'll cover in more detail later. Players can also discard emails by forming matching sets of email cards with the same subject lines. Notice that both of these read Cyber Attack in the subject line. That allows this player to pair those 2 cards together and discard them. However, they must draw a card from the draw pile after consolidating. Emails with no subject in the subject line can be consolidated with any other subject line in the game, discarded, and the player must again still draw. If a player lands on an inbox alert space, they are required to draw 1 card from the pile. When drawing cards from the draw pile, players can also get an action card. These allow players to take additional actions and can either require immediate use or be saved for later use. Action cards come in 5 types: forward, meeting request, out of office, reply all, and server crash. Email cards come in 4 types: reply, attach, archive, and schedule. When players land on a free forward space, they can pass a single email card from their hand to the opponent of their choice. This action has to be taken immediately or it's forfeited. If a player lands on an email space and does not possess any matching email cards or play any action cards, they may take the option to voluntarily draw a card from the draw pile. If a player lands on or passes refresh inbox while still holding any email cards, they keep playing and make another lap of the board, attempting to clear their hand of emails before passing again. However, if a player is only holding action cards when they cross refresh inbox, then they've won. If the draw pile is exhausted, take all of the cards from the discard pile, shuffle them back up, and place them back on the board as the new draw pile. There are no hand limits for players. Here are some example turns. A player rolls and lands on an attached space, and they possess an attached card, so they discard this. But before ending their turn, they play a meeting request action card against another player, who loses their upcoming turn. Before rolling, a player uses a forward action card to pass an email card to another player. They roll the die and land on a reply space, which is an email they don't have. Before ending their turn, they notice they have a no subject schedule email and consolidate that with an archive email, allowing them to discard both cards. They must draw from the draw pile before ending their turn. This player has only 1 email card left in their hand, so they roll hoping to land on that attached space that will let them clear their hand of emails. However, they land on an archive space instead, so they draw a card voluntarily in hopes of getting a helpful card to finish the game. Lastly, player 1 attempts to forward an email to player 2 using an action card, but it's blocked when player 2 uses an out of office card, returning the email to player 1. And that's how you play ZER0 INBOX.